briefing for Monday, the 12th of June. I'm Stephen Ridgway. I hope you all had a good weekend and are raring to go for the week ahead. Fortinet have released, Fortinet has released patches to their SSL VPN devices that allegedly quietly fix an SSL VPN RCE vulnerability that is going to be disclosed tomorrow. So the flaw apparently would allow an attacker to connect to the VPN even if MFA is activated, according to a cybersecurity firm in France. Fortinet is known to push out security patches prior to disclosing critical vulnerabilities to give customers time to update their devices before threat actors reverse engineer the patches, which is a pretty sensible approach. So if you are using Fortinet SSL VPNs, then look for the patches and make sure that they are applied. So a little bit of good news. Apple is introducing some major updates to Safari's private browsing to offer better protection against third-party trackers. So the Safari has actually been doing a pretty decent job of managing privacy. But they are still working harder at this. So private browsing, a couple of things. One of the things they're introducing is that private browsing locks when not in use, which allows a user to keep tabs open even when stepping away from the device. Mind you, I would say you shouldn't step away from your device unless the whole device is locked, but okay, step in the right direction, I guess. They are also making changes to link tracking in mail and messages and Safari's private mode to automatically remove tracking parameters and URLs. They will, I think, be rolling these changes out in iOS 17, iPadOS 17, and macOS Sonoma, which will be coming out later this year. So step forward if you are concerned about privacy and security of devices and you use Safari. Okay, so not sure if you were aware, but NVIDIA has produced AI software. I believe it's open source, or at least it's made available. And the idea is to provide the community with a system that helps developers work with a range of language models. The underlying technology that powers it is the same sort of AI that powers chatbots. So the system is called the NeMo, N-E-M-O framework. And it has been, it's out there being used at the moment. However, researchers in San Francisco have found that they can very easily break through the guardrails that have been applied to the AI software that were there to ensure it was being used safely. So good example of one of the things that's been done was to tell the system to swap the letter I for the letter J, as in, or turn an I into a J. And that move allowed the technology to release PII from a database, presumably because it was looking for the flag PII, which was now PJJ. So yeah, pretty trivial. So also they managed to get the system to discuss topics such as Hollywood movie stars' health and the Franco-Prussian War, despite the guardrails being in place that are supposed to have prevented those sorts of discussions coming up. So I think it is very much a sign of the times that AI is going to go off and do its own thing. I think it's going to be very difficult to constrain AI with these sort of security guidelines, mainly because surely if it really is AI, it will be able to work this stuff out and find ways around it, prompted by malicious humans. So apparently NVIDIA's vice president of applied research says the framework was simply a starting point for building AI chatbots that aligned to developers' defined topical safety and security guidelines. He has not said anything about what they're going to do about this misbehavior, but I suspect they'll be scratching their heads and wondering how they can adjust things. And also on the AI front, the OpenAI API keys for GPT-4 apparently have been scraped, which would allow malicious actors to pirate the GPT-4 model. Now, that raises concerns about potential misuse and unauthorized distribution of OpenAI's technology. I think whilst there are moves afoot to look at how AI can be governed and regulated, and I think even the Prime Minister feels like this is something he wants to get involved in. I don't think that is going to be very successful. If you look at previous attempts at regulating the internet, well, the best you can come up with is the Chinese model, and that's pretty oppressive, and people don't like it. So the likelihood that we would successfully, and quite frankly, outside of China, then the internet's the internet. It is what it is, and it's full of the most wonderful stuff, and it's full of the most absolutely utterly appalling stuff, depending on where you go. I don't really think that we're going to successfully regulate to control AI, and the fact that the keys to GPT-4 have been stolen, I think, is just par for the course. It's clearly going to be interesting, clearly going to be a target. As soon as it's in the hands of people with malicious intent, there's no saying what what it could be used for. So yeah. Oh dear. So there we go. So this will, I think, raise the stakes a bit in the escalating war between cyber defenders and malicious actors. Yeah, we will, I guess, on the defense side, all have to get better at defending against things that have been created by AI these days. We'll get there. We always do. Anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you have a great day. I hope it turns into a good week for you all, and I will speak to you all again tomorrow morning.